If you want to reach the absolute edge of human civilization, you must travel to Patagonia, isolated at the very bottom of South America. Imagine standing in a vast, empty valley. You look down, and the ground is covered in dry yellow grass and sharp gray rocks. You look up at the sky, and you see massive, heavy, dark storm clouds moving incredibly fast. Suddenly, a fierce, violent, freezing wind hits your body. The wind is so powerful that it physically pushes you backward. It bends the thick green trunks of the trees completely sideways, forcing them to grow perfectly parallel to the dirt. You walk forward, and you see a towering, jagged, sharp granite mountain piercing the clouds. And resting at the bottom of this massive stone mountain is an absolute miracle of nature. A gigantic, towering wall of solid, bright blue ice. It is a massive glacier, stretching for miles across the landscape. Suddenly, a loud, explosive cracking sound echoes through the valley. A giant block of heavy blue ice breaks off the massive wall and crashes violently into the freezing dark black water below, creating a huge white wave. Welcome to the end of the world. Welcome to the wild, untamed frontier of Chile and Argentina. This vast, incredibly diverse region is famous for drawing wealthy adventure tourists from all over the globe. They arrive in large metal buses. They wear expensive, bright red and bright orange Gore-Tex hiking jackets. They hold heavy digital cameras, taking photographs of the majestic blue glaciers and the tall granite peaks. But for the rugged local people who actually live out here on the endless, windy plains, this landscape is not a vacation. It is a daily, brutal war of endurance. To understand how human beings survive in this beautiful, violent geography, you must meet the true masters of the southern steppe. They are the gauchos, the legendary, tough cowboys of South America. If you drive a dusty, heavy 4x4 metal truck deep into the isolated valleys, you will find a traditional estancia, a massive, sprawling wooden ranch surrounded by hundreds of miles of heavy wooden and metal wire fences. A rugged, sun-tanned gaucho walks out of an old wooden barn. He wears a heavy, dark brown leather hat to protect his eyes from the blinding yellow sun. He wears a thick, colorful woven wool poncho wrapped tightly around his shoulders to block the freezing wind. On his feet, he wears tall, dark brown leather boots equipped with heavy, sharp silver metal spurs. He walks over to a large, muscular, wild brown horse. He throws a heavy brown leather saddle onto the horse's back and pulls the leather straps tight. He climbs onto the powerful horse and rides incredibly fast across the dry yellow plains, accompanied by a pack of fast, barking black and white sheepdogs. This is not a historical performance. This is the real functioning economy of deep Patagonia. The gauchos manage massive flocks of thousands of fluffy white sheep. They use their fast horses and loud dogs to herd the frightened white sheep across the vast, fenceless landscape, searching for small patches of green grass and drinking water from cold, clear blue rivers. During the busy spring season, the gauchos engage in grueling, back-breaking physical labor. Inside a loud, dusty wooden shed, the men grab the heavy white sheep. They use loud, buzzing electric metal clippers or sharp steel hand shears to quickly cut the thick, heavy white wool off the animals' bodies. They pack the dirty white wool into massive canvas bags, which will be loaded onto heavy transport trucks and sold to global clothing factories. But working outside in Patagonia means you are completely at the mercy of the terrifying, unpredictable weather. This region is famous for the roaring 40s and the furious 50s. Massive, violent global wind currents that sweep across the freezing Southern Ocean with absolutely no landmass to slow them down. When these violent winds hit the tall, jagged Andes Mountains, they create explosive, chaotic weather patterns. In a single afternoon, a gaucho riding his horse can experience bright, burning yellow sunlight, followed instantly by a dark, terrifying thunderstorm, and ending with a blinding, heavy white snowstorm that covers the yellow grass in deep, freezing ice. Because the weather is so harsh and the work is so physically exhausting, the local diet is intensely heavy. It is designed to provide massive calories and deep internal warmth. When the sun finally sets behind the towering blue glaciers and the dark, freezing night takes over, the gauchos gather together. They do not cook inside a modern electric kitchen. They build a massive, roaring orange fire, using dry wooden logs on the open dirt. They practice the ancient, sacred art of the asado. They take a giant, whole slaughtered lamb. They stretch the massive animal onto a heavy, tall iron metal cross. They stab the iron cross directly into the ground, leaning the heavy meat over the burning, glowing red coals. The meat cooks very slowly for many hours. The hot, sizzling yellow animal fat drips down into the orange fire, sending thick, delicious gray smoke into the cold night air. A gaucho pulls a large, sharp silver hunting knife from his leather belt. He cuts a massive, thick, steaming piece of roasted meat and eats it directly off the metal blade. But the asado is only half of the Patagonian survival diet. The other half is an absolute daily obsession. It is called mate. Throughout the entire day, from the freezing early morning to the dark night, you will see every single gaucho holding a small, round, wooden or metal gourd in their hands. Inside the small gourd is a massive pile of finely crushed, dry green leaves. They pour steaming, boiling hot water from a silver metal thermos directly onto the green leaves. Then, they drink the hot, bitter green liquid through a special silver metal straw called a bombilla. They do not drink it alone. They sit in a circle around the orange fire, passing the warm wooden gourd from hand to hand, sharing the hot tea with everyone. It provides a massive rush of natural caffeine, keeping their minds sharp and their bodies incredibly warm against the freezing wind. But even with the hot tea and the warm wool ponchos, humans are not the only survivors out here. To live in Patagonia is to share the land with some of the most spectacular, terrifying wildlife on the planet. If a gaucho rides his horse near the rocky, high mountain cliffs, he must look up at the bright blue sky. Flying high above the clouds is the majestic Andean condor. It is a gigantic, terrifying black bird with a massive white collar around its neck. It has a staggering 10-foot wingspan. It circles silently in the cold air, looking down at the ground, searching for dead sheep or frozen animals to eat with its sharp, curved white beak. And hiding in the tall yellow grass is the ultimate apex predator of the South, the puma, a massive, muscular, golden-brown mountain lion. The puma stalks silently through the dry bushes, hunting the large, wild, spitting guanacos. Tall, funny-looking animals with long necks and thick orange fur that run across the plains. For the gauchos, the puma is a terrifying enemy. A single hungry mountain lion can jump over a wooden fence in the middle of the dark night and kill dozens of valuable white sheep, leaving a bloody massacre in the snow. This creates a constant, tense war between the local farmers trying to protect their animals and the wild predators simply trying to survive the freezing winter. Today, this vast, beautiful, isolated world is standing at a turning point. The massive, ancient blue glaciers are slowly melting and shrinking, turning into fast, roaring brown rivers due to the changing global climate. The traditional wooden estancia ranches are being bought by massive, wealthy foreign corporations. These large companies are building luxury, expensive glass hotels right next to the wild national parks, charging rich tourists thousands of dollars to sleep in comfortable, heated beds. The young children of the gauchos, holding glowing digital smartphones, often choose to leave the freezing, windy plains. They board heavy metal buses and travel north to the large, crowded concrete cities of Buenos Aires or Santiago. They trade their thick wool ponchos and leather saddles for modern business suits and bright computer screens. But out here, in the deep, isolated valleys, where the paved roads turn into rough, bumpy dirt trails, the true soul of Patagonia refuses to die. To live at the end of the world is to accept your place in the universe. You cannot stop the violent, howling wind. You cannot stop the massive blue glacier from cracking. You cannot tame the sharp granite mountains. You must adapt. You must endure. When you sit on a heavy leather saddle, looking out over an endless, empty plain of yellow grass and white snow, when you feel the burning warmth of the orange fire on your face and taste the bitter green mate tea, you realize that human beings do not need massive concrete cities to be happy. We only need a strong horse, a thick blanket, a warm fire, and the courage to face the storm. In the wild, majestic, terrifying lands of Patagonia, the wind never stops blowing, but the people who live here will never stop riding.